Sean Capri, and welcome to a very special Patreon-powered episode 136 of We the GamerCast. It's coming to you normally on Mondays, but you're hearing this on iTunes, Google Play, and mother-loving YouTube because of all the support at patreon.com/makeusbetter, where you get 2 extra episodes, and those episodes always have returning guests, some of my favorite people that I've met on the internet, talking to strangers since the beginning of We the GamerCast. This month, the month of March, Fluxtaposed is taking over. We're going to be talking to Lucas Rose in just a second, but before we get there, all of our patrons make this happen, and a special thanks to our Platinum executive producer, Corey Hicks, our 2 Gold executive producers, Sheldon, Benedict, and Mr. Moody. Right now, as I say that, Sheldon is in Canada. We're going to get to that in my chat as well. Our gentleman executive producers, Nick Milicia from Next Level Games, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Dr. Doom, Jesse Armstrong, Glauco Shaffer, David Ray, Aaron Doherty, Martini Jean, and Dude427. Guys, thank you so much. This is the funnest thing. I love this about Make Us Better, is that I always wanted to have people back. You told me that you wanted to have people back by pushing us to our milestone of having these 2 bonus episodes. And just because they're bonus doesn't mean they're skippable. You must listen to this. It is so good. This is a great conversation. We're going to get to it in just a second. I want to give a quick shout out to our newest patron, Janet Garcia, who is also my next guest. I will be talking to her on Saturday for Monday's episode. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. But for now, let's get right into it with my very good friend, Lucas Rose. You can follow him on Twitter at heavymetal_riff. Here he is, Lucas Rose. What do you think, like people's first beers are now, though? Because like when I was growing, like, do you guys have kokanee? I feel like I asked somebody this previously. It's just a basic lager. It's a sweet blue can. There's like kokanee and Canadian and Coors Light. I don't even know if you'll end up.
How do you spell?
K-O-K. Okay, here's the Fluxtaposed mechanical keyboard. Yeah,
tappy.
I actually got a couple notes that I want to get to, really seriously getting to the keyboard. K-O-K,
sure.
Coca, A-N-E-E. Is that it? It sounds like it'd be longer.
Oh, yeah. We definitely don't have it here,
it's
but
brewed
it looks...
in the mountains. Like, they don't just chill it there. It comes out of the mountains, like a volcano of beer, and then they just can it. It's pretty amazing. It's kind of like how Canadians are born out of a frozen over lake. They just like come up out of the ice and they start skating.
They just come out of it. Oh boy, let's go here. I just was bored. Where's my beer? How's my accent? Is it?
Yeah, I want more of it.
Is that? Oh gosh, nobody wants more of that. Oh jeez. I don't know. See, that's the thing. Is like there's certain accents that you can do, and it's funny and fun and lighthearted. But then there's other ones that are big no-nos. So I always wonder. I'm like, am I offending anyone? Like Irish, for instance. That's kind of a questionable one for me because
it's slippery.
Anytime anyone's like, "Oh, I sound Irish," it's just like I'm doing a leprechaun. Like that's really what it comes down to. And so I'm like, oh, that might be cringy. So I try to stay away. But I feel like Canadians are pretty open to the pretty open.
We're just like, oh, they noticed us. Hey, oh, hooray. Oh, thank goodness.
We're just up here freezing our buns off. Oh boy.
Yeah, we're still here, not shooting each other.
Yeah, no kidding. How's that criminal homicide rate?
It's okay. It's not perfect.
Yeah,
it's definitely not. It's not perfect, and the news permeates so much that if there are, like, if there's anything, even any close, like somebody was shot in Canada today, we're like, what are we? We need to protect the children. It's like, huh? I think you're conflating a couple. Today, apparently, they were voting on. I should check to see what happened. They were voting on legalizing marijuana. The vote happened today in the Senate.
Nice.
I know way more about American politics than I do about Canadian politics. I think it's because of Saturday Night Live. We have versions of Saturday Night Live that are awful. They're it's live, but it sounds like they're prompting every laugh with the sign like, okay, now's your time to laugh. Yeah, exactly. It's not good. It's too bad. We're funny. We're kind of Canadians are funny.
Some of the greatest comedians have come from Canada.
So. I like to think so. Yeah.
Mike Myers.
Yep. That's it. Jim Carrey.
That's
Jim Carrey.
List. Jim Carrey's Canadian.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
We'll claim him. I remember. I think that my dad told me that Robin Williams was Canadian, and it's like he's so not. Like he's definitely not Canadian. But we were just like going on like I guess all Canadians, all funny people, come from Canada. Martin Short.
Maybe he just wished. Yeah. Martin
Seth
Short,
Rogen.
That's a good one.
That's more current. Martin Short. I never really found that funny. I can't think of anybody else though.
Yeah, he was kind of like my parents' type of humor. You know what I mean? Like my mom finds him funny. It's like, okay, I can't like you then because my mom laughs at your jokes. Sorry, Martin Short, if you're listening. Sorry. Oh, sorry. So sorry.
I've probably become more, maybe less Canadian sounding just by doing this podcast. I think if we go back, I think I've probably like transformed my voice because I've like caught myself saying things that sound like shout outs. I'm still working on shout outs. I really have to, like, it's so stupid. Why is it so hard for me?
A boot is pretty bad. Like you
it's
don't
not quite a boot.
A boot isn't so bad,
but it's close. Like and I get the joke. It's most comedy is funniest when it's like taken to hyperbole to illustrate the point. Like that's why impressions are so good. You take like the little nuances and you just go nuts with them. Sure, and that's right. Where a boot comes from. I don't think anybody says a boot. But we take a shortcut on it. Like our mouths kind of just like give up a smidge way through. It's just it sucks. It's really stupid.
It's okay. I think it's fine. I find it endearing. Although I will say, I think the Midwestern accent is probably the most most wanted accent because it seems like every newscaster ever is trying their best to be Midwestern, flavorless, the most bland possible.
Is Midwestern flavorless, you think?
I feel like it is. I mean, other people don't think so, I guess, but I feel like it's the most bland way of talking. There's no real... I mean, I've heard that we say things like bagel. Like, I can't even do it, but bagel or bag instead of bag, or milk.
Do you say milk?
Things like that.
There's people here who we've had the same conversation in Canada of milk, and we smack them.
Put A in there.
We're just like, what is the matter with you? Milk.
Milk.
What about
I
roof?
say milk for sure.
Do you say roof or roof?
I say roof, but see, there's a lot of that though, because like my mom will say crick instead of creek, which right there should tell you the fact that I even know that. We're having some really awesome conversations about water formations.
And you're
go down to the creek.
You're going to all of them. You're like the rivers and the creeks and the ponds.
Yep.
Just the fjords.
Oh,
the fjords.
We don't have any fjords.
Well, I should have asked Alexandra last week in Sweden, because that reminds me of a good old scene from Wayne's World.
Oh yeah, they've got the Njords got fjords.
Sweden. I'm from Jürgen of the Pjärven Fjords.
Oh gosh. Right though, like seriously, some of the names they need to knock
her about that. Like, okay, so what did you think about Drew Carey being a Swede? She probably wouldn't know that reference. That was definitely Wayne's World. I feel like I'm remembering that wrong, but it's definitely
Drew Carey.
Not Drew Carey. I'm sorry, Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore.
Okay, that's what threw me off.
Yeah, it was like... the sexiest Drew Carey ever looked. Was as a Swede in Wayne's World.
That's saying a lot, because I've always found her not to be that attractive. Honestly, I know I'm controversial.
I think that one scene was pretty good, but also Scream, not too bad in that sweater. Then she gets stabbed and hangs.
That
from
is
tree
true.
With her guts hanging out. Probably one of the most scarring scenes of my life. Like of any, really? I was in grade 7 when I saw Scream, and I thought everybody's like, this movie's hilarious, and I'm like, oh, what is that mask and that voice? Why is he murdering these people? And then I'm like, death is forever.
Is it okay if I say I'm scared? No, I can't. I gotta be a man.
Oh yeah, there were girls there. We were watching our friend's house on some giant TV, and you have to be. And by trying to tough it out, I have serious psychological problems now. Like 30 years later.
Yeah,
it's all because of Scream. Thank you, Drew Barrymore.
I used to be afraid of the dark. and I still am.
Did you ever watch it? Did you guys have that TV show? Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the dork?
That'll be my new podcast. Are you afraid of the dork?
We did, but I never watched it because I was like, this isn't cartoons.
Yeah. I used to say, believe it or not, I used to say that about hockey. I wanted to watch cartoons, and my uncle said, "This is the cartoons for adults in Canada." He actually said that to me. I'm like, huh. I guess that kind of makes sense in a weird backwards way.
I never thought of it that way.
Thanks, Uncle Sam. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's weird. I used to be all about cartoons, and now I barely ever watch cartoons.
I'm so glad you guys brought it up.
I mean, I watched cartoons until it was kind of like, you're 18. You really should not be watching SpongeBob SquarePants.
What did you start doing instead?
After that, I moved in with Jason, and we didn't really have television. We watched movies, and that was about it. I gamed mostly, and
I never got to ask you about that last time. You had mentioned that you lived with Jason. We barely talked. We talked about a guy named Matt. We talked about your dad. Let's try and talk about people who we could still talk to now. Maybe we'll put it that way.
Yeah, I could have been lying the whole time. You don't know because you can't talk.
That's true. I can't remember if I asked Jason about this or not, but like I wanted to talk to you about living with him. Like, why'd you do that?
I think at that time, I mean, I guess I don't really know. I mean, for me personally, it was to get out of my mom's house because for a long time, everyone always said, "Oh, you'll live in your mother's basement for the rest of your life," just because at that time in my life, I didn't have a lot going on. I wasn't even graduated from high school. I didn't actually receive my diploma. I had to do extra courses because I was a terrible student.
And then you get to be the cool kid, like upgrading afterwards. And you're like, it's high school, but you're old. And actually, I guess you guys couldn't drink yet. Here, when you upgrade in high school, everybody's drunk. Because you're 18.
That's true.
Like you're going to class in the morning and the strip club in the afternoon. Like that's what a life. That's Alberta, man.
That's probably why you guys have such a great crime rate, is because everybody's happy because you're all drunk.
Pretty
and
much. That's definitely it. I can say definitively that's the reason. We've all been smashed since we were 15 years old. Got out of our system.
I should have been Canadian. I knew it. I told my mom yesterday.
We're going to keep Sheldon Benedict. I don't know if you know him from Quest for Pixels, but he's here now, and we're not letting him leave. We're going to be like that guy from The Dark Knight who Batman goes to get from China, and he brings him back. And like, you try to leave, but we're just gonna have Canadian Batman. There's actually a guy named Toronto Batman. He shows up at like Comic Cons and stuff. We saw him at San Diego Comic Con. He's Batman. He's waving a Canadian flag and yelling Canadian stereotypes at people. He's really funny, actually.
Wow.
He's on Facebook. You can check him out.
I will check him out. I will check him out.
Did I say it like that? Son of a bitch.
No.
I hate myself.
No, see, I'm just making it. I'm making it out to be more.
Oh, look at you, out! I can just say out about.
Out. You just did it. I'm proud of you. We're making strides here.
I'd like a candy now.
This is about you, after
apparently. Well, I put myself on the right side of the video, so I try to because I feel like the eye goes left to right, so like it's you first.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, so I went there wrong. I don't know if it's flipped or what. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you were flipped yesterday when I was watching, or was it yesterday? We the Gamer cast. I mean, not We the Gamer cast. If I ran Nintendo. Yeah, because Jason and I had a really interesting conversation about it because we were trying to figure out if you were flipped or not, because your table was on the other side.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's all Discord.
We did a lot of.
Oh, then nothing makes sense in the background. Like all my letters are backwards and stuff, and you can't tell who anybody is. All the characters, they don't look right.
I think you were wearing an Edmonton
Oilers
right here.
Hat. I kind of just I put it just there's a giant.
Yeah,
picture.
Let me see.
Yep.
Let me see the. Oh no, you're okay. You're not backwards now.
How about I can
read it?
Did you ever wear your hat kind of like this? Is such a weird show.
No.
You never wear your hat like this. I still do my hair kind of like that, and you kind of had like that.
I did.
That's the cool kids.
I didn't wear hats, dude. I didn't wear hats until I was 20. I couldn't pull it off, man. Probably until I was about 26.
Well, I'm jealous you can pull that hat off. I can't pull that off. I feel like I'm 16 years old wearing this stupid hat.
Listen, This is called I didn't wash my hair this morning, so I'm going to put a hat on now.
That's how I showed up to work
That's
today.
what this hat is.
I had to get in my car and record
great.
the Xbox Drive, which meant no shower for me. So I just kind of like, this is good enough. And then I got to work and somebody said I looked like Tintin. I was like,
no.
that's kind of mean.
Hair color is all wrong.
That's what I thought.
But...
I'm like, what do you? Might as well call me like Caillou. Do you guys have Caillou?
Oh yes, we hate Caillou here.
Actually, I've heard you guys rant about Caillou now that as soon as you said his name.
He's always bitching about everything, man. He's so whiny.
So why'd you live with Jason? You wanted to get out of your mom's basement.
Yeah. I want to get out of my. Speaking of, glad you mentioned that. I didn't actually live in the basement, but
Of
you know
course.
the metaphor holds true.
Did you spend a lot of time in the basement? Because we definitely did.
Only when I was punished.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, our basement was awful. It was moist and smelled funny. And also there was lots of chores to be done, like laundry. So I stayed away from there. So yeah, I don't know. One day I just kind of was like, it was one of those things where Jason had moved into the apartment, and you know I kept talking about how once I'm fiscally able to do so, I will move in with you. But there was no real goal set there. It was just kind of like whenever I felt comfortable. And then I eventually realized that's probably never going to happen. I should just move. And so that's what I did.
Figure it out.
So we packed up, all the stuff that I had. So my computer, and that is it. Yeah, exactly. My DVD collection. And off I went.
Remember when moving was awesome like that, though? Because you basically just got to like look at all of your amazing stuff. Like, where's my biggest cardboard box so I can load up my 400 DVDs? Where's that? I feel like that was you guys.
The 400 DVDs I never watched again. Like, why do I have all these DVDs?
I'm pretty sure I still have Dickie Roberts on DVD. I got it from Columbia House. It's a David Spade movie. It's an awful. It's like in the vein of like
oh my goodness.
Joe Dirt and whatever Rob Schneider was doing at the time. Like it's that kind of just like F grade. Not it's like below D. Like it's awful stuff.
Low hanging.
But you needed 11. You needed to pick a whole bunch because then you get signed up for that Columbia House. It's a good deal.
That's true.
It's really stupid.
True.
I still have them. They're in the other room.
When's the last time
I haven't
you
even
watched it?
inserted I accidentally hit the eject button on my car CD player, and I forgot my car had a CD player.
Why is Alanis
Well, it was
Morissette
Maroon
in here?
5.
Holy
I was
crap.
like, oh goodness.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to say something that dated you.
Actually, Alanis Morissette was one of my first compact discs. I bought Alanis Morissette and Coolio on the same back. It would have been like 1996, I think. Gangsta's
wow, Coolio. Now there's yeah.
I remember my mom heard that for the first time.
Compact.
She couldn't believe her ears. There's so many N this and F that. That's not
now
all I signed up for.
Just so you know, everyone's mom impression that I do is always a Jewish grandmother. But Sean, how can you listen to such awful music? It's so. I just don't understand all these words.
It's so offensive.
It's so offensive. Oh my god.
I hope to tell, like, when Lincoln grows up, I want to tell him stories about, as if I'm saying like my mom's still here. She's very healthy. But even still, like he will be able to know what she sounds like, but I won't tell stories like that. But like, it's so weird, Lincoln. Like when your Nana, she's Nana. Chelsea's mom is Grandma, which is very confusing. Because it's Nana and Grandpa. My dad is Grandpa. My mom is Nana. Chelsea's mom is just her. Her dad passed away, as we talked about before. And it's a Grandma. It would be much easier if it was Grandma, Grandpa, and then Nana separately. Anyways, that's that layout.
Yes.
That's a
whole nother thing.
But I want to sound, when Nana was when Daddy was a boy, Nana would say to him, "Oh, Sean, how come you listen to this music, this Coolio and Corn?" Don't know why.
What are you talking about, Dad?
My dad hearing Corn for the first time, I'll never forget. He was just beside himself. How could you listen to this? I remember going to a Corn concert in 1999 or 2000. I can't remember what side of the end of the world we were on.
Oh boy.
But yeah, my parents said, definitely not. You're not going to that concert. And then my friends all like pitched in. They bought it for me for my birthday present. It was the best time ever. Yeah, you can't control me. My friends have money.
I'm going anyway.
I want to watch Animaniacs and listen to Korn. You jerk.
I'm like two very opposite things, I must say. Oh, what's this? What's this parental units? I got 2 tickets to Paradise. It looks like. Well, it's only 1 ticket and it's to Korn, but you understand the reference I'm making.
Well, Papa Roach opened
now. Sean,
you remember Papa Roach?
Oh,
that was
boy,
good times, man.
Cut your life into pieces. I'm feeling feelings and emotions. Yeah. Suffocation.
No breathing. That's a. Can we hang on a second? Yeah,
yes,
can we bust out the old keyboard, the mechanical keyboard? Let's Last Resort lyrics.
Well, and you got to remember too, at the beginning it was cut my life into pieces. Like, it's the most ridiculous, like, overproduced. Could you make it sound a little more ridiculous?
Yeah,
I think you could do that. And then boom. I think we got it. Second try.
Okay, this is how far we've come with music, everybody. This was on all the time, everywhere. It wasn't even just like rock. I'm gonna skip to the verse because my god, it's awful. Cut my life into pieces. I've reached my last resort. Suffocate. No, that's still the chorus. What? How? When do you finally get to the verse?
This song only has 10 words. I never knew.
That's the whole song, apparently, in repeat. Because I'm losing my sight, losing my mind. Where somebody would. This is just an awful, awful song.
It's the first song to only have choruses.
Yes. Do you even care if I die bleeding? Would it be wrong? Would it be right if I took my life tonight? Chances are that I might. Mutilation out of sight, and I'm contemplating suicide. That's like mainstream shit.
No wonder our parents worried about us.
Yeah. And we're just like, cause I'm losing my sight.
Songs about suicide.
Yeah, that's what we were raised in, Lincoln. Listen to Daddy's oldies from back in late 90s.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I listen to my parents' oldies now most of the time. Music used to be like
melodic.
I don't want to say I don't want to say fun, but at least
you could do the twist to it.
And do a little shimmy and shake.
Just get him with that. Hey, so why'd you live with Jason?
When I said, I don't know. We moved in together. Next question.
I kind of wanted it to be like we get to the end of our time. We'd be like, well, we'll get to Jason next time. Maybe I'll get it could carry over into because he'll be on the next. Well, the next episode after this one, the next Patreon bonus one.
Yes, he'll be able to. Okay, no, we're gonna behave ourselves and we're gonna get through the hard-hitting questions.
Have to.
Okay, I'm taking off my pants now. I'm a really. I mean,
was it an apartment that you guys moved into together? Like how? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we lived in an apartment. It was kind of like a. Yes, one bed. One life to live, because I'm losing my sight, losing my mind, etc., etc. Oh yeah, that does sound like.
I was gonna sing one, but to the tune of "What If."
One.
Oh, that's good.
With arms wide open.
Good tune. It's really bad.
They're all good.
They're really
tunes.
not.
They're all good. They're all good tunes, as the British say. Tunes.
Oh gosh.
No, okay, so I moved in apartment. Yeah, because here's the hard-hitting truth, Sean. We kind of had shitty friends in the past. Kind of came and went. I've talked a little bit, I've hinted on sort of an elitist sect within our gaming group that kind of, I don't know, caused a rift in some of the more, I would say Jason and I, not to be mean or anything, but I would say at the time we were the more stable, normal people in our group, whereas we had some elitist, and then we also had some people that just kind of needed to get their life together. Like I don't mean that to say it in a mean way, but you know, they're the kind of friends who just kind of come in and out of your life, and they're not really dependable, and you're just kind of like, cool, you know, I'll see you in another 3 months or talk to you in another 3 months or whatever. So him and I just kind of gravitated towards one another because we just had the least problems hanging out and being friends, as weird as that sounds. So that's kind of why it just eventually moved into us living together. It was kind of a natural progression from there. And we lived together for about a year. It was great times. We drank way too much, and there was much debauchery. And after that, by that point, I had met my future wife, and she's from the future. Not that she's my wife.
That makes sense. She showed up like in a parking lot naked, and then grabbed somebody's bike in their clothes.
Spherical. Yeah. Give me a call.
She sounds like a Austrian bodybuilder. Sexy.
Yes, she looks like
to each their own.
And she hits me if I get out of line.
She can reload a shotgun like son of a bitch. That's spin. I still haven't seen anything like it. That needs to be in a game. Somebody needs to reload a shotgun like that.
I feel like it was in Gears of War, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was that cool. Especially riding a motorcycle. Oh, maybe there was a scene in Gear. You might be right.
Well, yeah. Not riding a motorcycle.
You just can't though. Like that's the thing. It's even if somebody else tries it, it's like, oh, it's a Terminator thing.
Right. Well, if I do it, I'm going to for sure blow my own head off while I'm doing it. Oh, God.
No, that's too violent and glorious. It would just be stupid. You'd actually like hit yourself and give yourself like a bruise in a really weird place. Like you give yourself like a phallic looking bruise along the cheek. And it's like, hey man, just
Watch your boyfriend do that?
Is there any better villain than the T-1000? Has there been a better villain? I don't think so. Maybe the bad guy from True Lies. That's not,
I've never seen
what?
True
I'm
Lies.
Totally kidding. That's, by the way, before we get on to that, totally kidding. That's not even, but I love True Lies. How have you not seen True Lies? The bridge is out.
I want to see True Lies. I want to see it. Stop it. Don't
Jamie Lee
ruin this
Curtis
for
in the
me.
scene, she's like trying to seduce him, and it's all weird because he made a French guy record these things. He's got his little cassette player, and he's trying to make her do the things, but not give away that it's her.
Sounds like Home Alone.
It is kind of like Home Alone, but with adults. It's like James Cameron did a. Is that my favorite James Cameron movie? I don't know, man. So living with Jason, was he mad? When you met this lady? Because like you know how like 20-year-old guys are like, how dare you leave me? You can't go get in a relationship. What a bitch.
No. Yeah. Yeah. No, there wasn't too much of that. Although we do make little jabs at each other because there is that culture to a certain extent, which to me is hilarious. Extent. I find that funny. Yeah. And so I always joke about like, oh man, it's kind of funny that we have to ask our wives to go do something. But the thing that those people are missing is that when you're in a marriage, not to get off serious all of a sudden, but it's like the thing that you have to realize when you get married, and it took me a while to realize, was that it's a team, right? You can say that all you want, but really it comes down to communication. And so when you have to ask your wife to do something, it's not real. Your dude friends are all like, oh, you're pussy whip, man. You got to ask your wife to go do something. It's like, no, I have to tell her where I'm going to be and that I'm thinking about leaving the house for 2 hours, and I need to make sure that she doesn't have anything else planned, or you know what I mean? It's
what
like,
a great lesson to teach kids though. Like I don't like nobody warned me about that part of life, and I don't know if I don't hold that against anybody. Apparently I say against weird too. Against like Chris Jericho. Never again.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you ever think of this as sort of getting into parenting a little bit too? Because like I would love to just keep track of the like random things, and my memory isn't good enough that I'll like, oh, here's the parenting moment where I get to teach this thing that I wanted to pass along. I don't have any proverbs or stories to say.
Right.
So I feel like I'm gonna forget all these like great things that I want to pass down, and I think it's really unfortunate. But I think also that the teaching stops at a certain point where you kind of get them through maybe elementary, junior high, and then it's kind of like high school or middle school or whatever you end up calling it. But the latter end,
Yeah,
like
middle school probably.
then you just sort of like start figuring things out on your own, and you're like, well, this is when things get serious. Like I need to know how to like manage a bank account or how to do taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And how do I get a credit card? Like, what's a credit score? Like serious things like that.
Yeah.
So
How insurance works.
or doesn't, am I right?
Oh, yes. I learned that. That's why I bring it up, because I'm still learning stuff like that. I'm just like,
maybe that's a
Mom,
brother thing, though.
how do I?
Maybe that's like a sibling thing to kind of warn the next one of, you know, you may be getting serious about getting into or starting a family, or like trying out relationships in a different way. Like it starts to feel a little bit different. Like moving in is different, and your friends aren't gonna like it. And like for me, Lucas, I don't know, but like it sounds like you guys had each other for that. Like in my group, we had a large group of friends. We all hit that point at very different times, and we all gave each other the worst time ever. Like it was
Oh no.
it was awful. Like really, really brutal stuff of people being really horrible and talk behind each other's back and abandoning them, and it sucked, man.
Yeah.
But nobody warns you, or even like not even that you should be warned that might happen to you. It's actually the opposite, that your friends are going to go off and do their thing. So let them, like, encourage them.
Yeah, that's the thing is, well, if your friends are the ones that are left, I mean, because I mean they probably feel threatened. Nobody wants to be like, look, if you have a group of 5 friends and the last guy is still single at 35 or whatever, you know, they're kind of like, oh, now I'm the only person left, and all my friends are married with children, and I'm still single and going to the bar by myself, or whatever. That's an extreme example, but I think that has something to do with it. But also, like,
it's a mob mentality, though. I think, because I think you're right. It depends on like the size of the group.
Yeah.
And for us, it was definitely like this. There's 15 of us, so like, look at this loser, and you kind of go, oh, hang on a second. My parents don't drink every single weekend, so maybe I don't need to do that. Like we all kind of like came to that realization that eventually kids are going to happen. And if I want to be even like close to as great as my parents were, I should probably look at what worked out for them. Like not spending $400 in a weekend at the bar, because that's stupid. And you can actually be productive on a Sunday morning. That's an amazing thing too. Or you could eventually just have your kids and then shoot Battle the Beer videos on the internet. You could do that instead.
Exactly. I mean, you find a way to make it work. That's the important thing. Just because you get married doesn't mean. Some of the saddest things I've ever heard are people who give up their hobbies because
that's temporary, though, don't you think? Either the hobby comes back or the marriage breaks.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I think it's
other factors
where the actual problem lies. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, and I mean, the thing is it's always fluctuating. You'll have good times, you'll have bad times, and you'll have time to do the things you like to do, and then you won't have as much time to do the things that you like to do, whatever it may be. And most of the stuff I like to do takes place at my house. So, you know, gaming, craft beer. You know, I don't have to really leave. I don't do any like sports or anything like that. But
NHL 94.
So it's kind of easy.
Don't cut yourself short.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Give my thumb a
versus
workout.
the Whalers.
Well, both thumbs. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that game. It was so bad for the Whalers.
I have a Whalers cap somewhere
upstairs.
I definitely have a Hartford Whalers cap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
sweet. It's one of my favorites.
Taking it.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate thing is we're all maturing at different levels. And
do you have any friends who've like had their marriages come and go? Like, is that because like that's the other part about growing up that's sort of strange, and I feel like we will always be able to say we are always growing up, we're always getting old, but there's like that time where you're moving out, everybody's moving out. Then there's a time when like everybody's getting married, and you've got like this summer of like all these weddings and everything. Then everybody's having babies, and then like sometimes people's marriages are falling apart, and for me like it's that along with like friends' parents are dying. Like that's where we're at, where it's like the weddings have gone away, now we're hitting funerals, and that sucks.
Yeah. I've had one whose marriage ended and it was pretty messy, but it was for the better. And then I have one friend who's I didn't meet him until film school, but his marriage was on the rocks for quite some time, and they managed to reel it in, but it, as far as I understand, it's not getting much better, but it's not getting much worse. So they're kind of in this weird limbo stage where things are just kind of staying the same after this one big event that happened. He actually came and lived here with us for about 6 months while he got his life back together, because he almost committed suicide, and he's not, I don't think he'd care that I'd say that, because he pretty much talks about it openly. So yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is kind of amazing. And then just hearing from, Jason and the people that he knows and talks to me about is like, I don't know. I'm a pretty laid back guy. I find it hard to really fight about things. I mean, I do have my triggers, obviously, as anybody does. But for the most part, some of the stuff that people argue about is so ridiculous and or could have been avoided. Like my one friend who was divorced for the better, they just had a completely different philosophy for life. One was religious, one wasn't. One wanted kids, one really didn't want kids.
You gotta talk about that.
Yeah, and I think he just settled. So part of it, I think, is knowing yourself, and that's important as well, is to know, just being honest with yourself and really evaluating where you're at in life, and just that's a skill that's really hard, actually, because you can lie to yourself and not even know it. But it really takes a lot of courage to sit down and not just say like, what do I want, but like, what's best for me. And not in a sort of way that makes you like, oh, I just want money.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Not in a way that makes you seem like a dick, but like maybe it's better for you to stay with the person who's religious, even though you're not. And maybe that helps you figure some things out, whatever it is. But that, I think that kind of plays into what we were talking about.
Well, it is. It does. And I wanted to sort of, and even like going back to living with Jason, the fact that you guys, like, I don't know how explicitly you had mentioned, hey, we're on the same wavelength about like life and decisions and what is the right path, but like something brought you guys together. And I wanted to sort of like prompt you what you might think of, like, what isn't it, like, is it luck? Is it fate? Is it actual decision making, conscious decision making that like, it's a split decision, or like this in a parallel universe. You're not living with Jason, you're living with Matt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. No, that really could be. Yeah. I actually believe in fate to a certain degree. I'm not particularly religious, not to get like religious on here, but I do believe that there is some sort of fate or direction that kind of guides us, because I do feel like I often think about those things, and I think a lot of people do think about like what it would have been like if I would have married my high school sweetheart at age 18,
or if like that pregnancy
something
scare
like that
was real, like boo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, exactly. Or if I would have lived with my friend Matt, who did plenty of drugs and obviously ended up in a bad way. So I do believe that to a certain degree, if you're willing to let fate kind of guide you, you'll end up where you're supposed to be.
Well, that's a really like easy, and I don't know. I'm going to play devil's advocate because I also believe that too. But as somebody who like, because I think we can speak to that from a very similar place. We have a son. We're happily married. We're like we are the same person, Lucas. Like we're just flipped. Like
just
my last name has 2 syllables. Your first name has 2 syllables. Your last name has 1. My first name, we're just flipped. We are the parallel universe. So we're the same.
That's true.
The reason for this little tangent is we get to say, I think fate takes you to the place that you're supposed to be. And it's like, well, it's not everybody ends up in that place, that happy place. Or even like I think we've both been through like roller coasters in the past. And when you're in that dark time, you're like, is this what fate wanted for me? Like, or whatever guiding force. It's like, why this? So
right.
I think that's an interesting. It's an interesting conversation to have with yourself at a micro level, but then on the macro level where you go like, well, there's somebody in the dumps over there, like he's totally homeless. Like, why did fate take that person. I don't know. Like, I think I don't know if that's necessary if we're even saying what's predetermined or what takes us into and what presents various opportunities for us to just make decisions and then set us down paths. I think it's a combination of both. I think you just have to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good.
Yes, that is true. There probably is a bit of luck involved, especially when you're, living life kind of by the
Pretty
seat of your
much.
pants, like I did for a long time. I mean, I kind of just fell into this because I didn't know. I did a lot of growing up. I actually feel like I'm behind when it comes to being responsible and being somebody who isn't only concerned about themselves and their needs. You know what I mean? So
does being a dad accelerate that, though?
I think, well, it definitely causes you to look at two roads, right? Or it splits the path, and you either have to go really hard in one direction or the other. You either have to say, all right, I'm willing to give up the things I like to do and have a lot less time doing them, or I'm willing to stop being an alcoholic or stop doing drugs or whatever so that I can take care of my gambling, whatever it is, whatever the problem that you're big or small, whatever it is you're dealing with, you're willing to sacrifice that to go down the other path that says you're going to be a father that is there for their kid in growing up in 20 years or whatever. And I think those types of decisions, whether we like to be honest with ourselves or not, and a lot of people I think don't want to be honest with themselves. I sometimes don't want to be, but when I am, that's where growth occurs. I feel like those are those choices that either you once again go towards kind of where you're meant to be, or you shy away from it. And I've seen enough examples of that in my life where, like that friend who should have been divorced, and it's kind of a good thing. He worked a horrible job that caused him a lot of anxiety for years and years, couldn't get a job that he actually deserved. And eventually he applied to multiple jobs and kept getting turned down. And eventually he got a job in Indiana, so he had to move, but he's so much happier now. And I can actually hear it in his voice when we, obviously we're gaming over the internet now, but like he just sounds like a happier dude. And I think when you find yourself in those places where you're like, certainly this couldn't possibly be where I was meant to end up. Like, why am I the person who has such a terrible life right now? Sometimes it is just waiting it out, unfortunately. And other times it's making the right decision. And like you said, sometimes it comes down to luck. It's a whole combination of things that unfortunately we don't understand as human beings.
we need to access that fourth dimension,
man.
Game. We definitely
I'm working on it.
Get in behind the bookshelf. Just start knocking things over and stuff. And I want to very quickly touch on this, and then I have a couple. I want to talk about Humble Bundle in a second. But before we get to Humble Bundle,
sweet Humble Bundle,
because I need to get your promo code out there. Because I think you're right. I think, and I have lived by this sort of mantra, this ideologies or set of ideologies for quite some time of being very honest with myself about decisions and my actions and activities and things like that. But there is what I very recently learned, and December was the worst time for me. Was I actually canceled on Gabe Patillo, who was from Married to the Games. I canceled 5-10 minutes before we went on because I just couldn't get myself out of bed to move or even fake. You are episode 136. We started doing this style at episode 10. I've done this 120 some odd times of just one-on-one. You think I could just fake it, and I couldn't even do it. And so what I learned coming out of that was I was being a little too honest with myself. I was being a little too hard on myself, of setting these weird expectations of being a dad and being a husband and providing and doing the perfect thing at the right time all the time was maybe not the best. It was being honest with myself, but too much. So through that, and I think the bounce back is going to be finding where is appropriate, because you don't want to be like, well, I don't want to ever look at myself ever again. Look how sad I was. That was really stupid. So
Right.
I'll just, hide in this room and podcast all the time. That's not the right answer either. But yeah,
Right.
that's sort of just, that is maturing, is tweaking and not being like set in stone on one way or another, going, that didn't quite work, so maybe I'll try this. And maybe that's kind of, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
Let's keep doing this. So for me, it is a lot of, I'm like writing things down more, because it gets it out of my head onto a piece of paper and going, oh, that's stupid. That's not
Sure.
real. Being grateful, being like good, and like it's like positivity breeds positivity. And I'm feeling more like myself. So and I think that's what a lot of people experience too, is they get down on themselves because they're not feeling themselves. And then that's a kind of a sick spiral to go down. Like
Well, you got to be you for you. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going into that a little bit. I feel like there's like an expectation to be a certain way, especially when you have a family and you have a child and you're trying to kind of, I don't want to say keep up with the Joneses, but at least make it look like you have all your,
what you're
ducks
doing,
in a
right?
row,
You've done
so to
this
speak.
1,000 times before. No, like,
Yeah,
no,
right. Nobody knows what they're
exactly.
doing. But I think, like, for me, one of the biggest things is coming to the realization that, for instance, being honest with myself, where I started to wonder, am I not going to things because I don't want to go to them, or am I not doing or going to things because I have social anxiety and it's keeping me from, for instance, so I do film work and it's a gig-based thing, and sometimes you'll get calls and you won't know anybody on the set or anything, and that scares me. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to show up and I'm not going to know anybody, and I don't know who to talk to, or I'm going to make an idiot out of myself. And so I'll find reasons to like not do those jobs or whatever. And then I think back on it and I'm like, did I really not want to do it? Or like, was it really the reason that I said it was, or is it because I was just too scared because I didn't know anybody and I had social anxiety? Like, that's one of the big things recently that I've kind of learned. Oh, that's this feeling I'm having, is I don't want to do this because I'm just scared, so to speak. And I've been able to overcome that to a certain degree now.
How did you do that?
Because now I just don't care. I stopped caring, honestly. A really dumb example is I've been struggling with this. I'm turning into a dad, like, for sure. Because
I've been struggling with this like thing that's happening to me where I'm like, now I'm a dad. Yeah,
turning into a dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a dad bod, and I'm like, where did this come from? So there was this guy in where was I? I was waiting somewhere, and I was at the pharmacy. And there's this guy there, and he made a joke about how he moved across the street because his address had changed. He said, yeah, I moved across the street. I say things like that as well. And I've been doing it more and more increasingly. And the little part in the back of my brain that says, these people don't care about the things I'm saying. They just want to get to the next person because it's a pharmacy and they're super busy. And I'm over here expecting to have like a 30-minute chat with this person. Like, that has come to the forefront of my mind more and more. I get frustrated when I try to have an interaction with people and I just kind of get stonewalled. And I'm just like, man, that person must really be having a awful day or something. Cause like, totally like not wanting to have human interaction, or something that like I made an offhanded comment about, oh my gosh, I actually have like money in my wallet as opposed to using my card. Like, that never happens, and it happens to be almost the exact change I need. The person was just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Super.
And I'm like, maybe I'm the
that's
problem.
the worst. That drives me crazy, is when somebody else is acting, and this applies to so many different situations of either somebody's rude or they're whatever, inconsiderate, incompassionate, or they stonewall you, all these different things. And you're like, and they're the ones who are acting inappropriately, but they make you feel like you're doing something wrong. You're like, that's not right. And it's like, why do I have to have that conversation with myself? Where I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, you have that conversation with yourself, you jerk. One of my biggest pet peeves, this is not nearly on the same level, but big pet peeve of mine is when I approach, like a cashier or something like that, your job is to say hello first. I am approaching you, you say hello.
Yes, no, that's true. Or have a nice day. Like, I'll end the conversation, and I'm like, aren't you supposed to say that? But I'll say it because otherwise... What are we doing here?
Sometimes I make it a game of like, if you're not saying hello, then I'm not either. So yeah, enjoy this.
That's the dad.
Is that a dad thing? It's like, get off my lawn, you damn kids.
To make like, well, no, it's more like to making bad dad jokes or like going out of your way to like, I don't know, make small talk. I guess that's how I look at it. It's like, these people aren't here to make small talk with me, but they, in a way, if you want me to feel better about like what you're doing, your service or whatever, in your job, like, just be a human. You know what I mean? Like, be a human being that responds to things and not, I don't know, just cold and like, let's just get to the next person so I can get.
That's why this is like it is. I hate small talk. I can't stand it. So if our interaction is predetermined and predestined to be small talk, in that it's a cashier, it's that temporary, like, make that as good as possible. I don't want that to be any worse than it should be. I want that, like, when I'm buying my coffee at McDonald's, please say hello to me, because this is just weird that I'm in my car driving up to you. Please, let's try and like put some normalcy to this. This is just a strange interaction.
Well, and that goes for the people in the cars too, because if you're the type of person who doesn't even look up from your phone as you're sitting in, which you shouldn't even be on your phone, but if you're like, yeah, thanks, and then throw the money at them or whatever, you're part of the problem.
Well, yes, let's all be honest. 95% of us were doing that 15, 20 years ago or whatever it was, like, or a job very similar like it. Or maybe we should have been. I don't know. Like, we've all come from somewhere. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. What's with Humble Bundle this month? I don't think that it's good. Lucas Rose.
What is it? The 3? Well, there was the Mafia 3. There's
that's coming up. Yeah, that's the April bundle.
So you're saying you're saying the one that
we need to
just
get
came
the
out?
only reason I'm bringing this up mainly just so that I hear your keyboard in this episode.
Well, you know, you only got to ask, and I'll touch my keyboard.
Can you type out the lyrics to Papa Roach's? No, actually, don't. I don't want anybody to see those lyrics on your screen. Like, what is?
No, nobody should have to. Did I just stumble upon Lucas's secret journal?
Oh my goodness!
What are these entries? Yes. He's got a lot of issues, man. He's talking about his friends being horrible, and this guy's talking about ending it all. So let's see. What did we have? March 2018, Overgrowth. Don't know what that is. Lost Castle. Don't know what that is. See, here's the thing. They were banking on Dark Souls 3. Especially because they made it the early unlock, and they're trying to draw people in. Splasher, don't know what that is. Aviary Attorney,
it sounds
don't know
amazing.
What that is. Last Day of June. It could be funny. Last Day of June, don't know what that is. Holy Potatoes Were in Space. I only know because I have the first game. Thanks to Humble Bundle.
What's the first game? Where are they? Holy Potatoes were like in the ocean.
Holy Potatoes,
Holy zucchinis.
It's a weapon shop or something like that. Zucchinis are a lie perpetrated by the big vegetable.
How much do you think you spend on Humble Bundle a year?
Well,
I mean, monthly's $12 a month, so there's that. There's $144.
So yeah, and then probably an extra $40 on top of that, because you get that sweet 10% discount. So I'm pretty sure I've bought some stuff, whether they be whether they be bundles or just their shop.
I bought Her Story for $1.61 in December.
Have you played it?
I'm maybe a couple hours into it, and I don't remember what my next keyword I need to search is, so I don't know if I can finish that.
I was kind of let down by it. I mean, I knew what it was, but I don't know. I guess I felt like I would enjoy it more than I really did.
I definitely thought it was cool. I don't know, man.
I have attention deficit disorder, so it's like when I come back to something, I'm just like, what the hell was I doing? I don't even remember. But here was the thing I was going to say. But then you look at January or even February, and then you got Tomb Raider, which I already own, Sleeping Dogs, which I already own, The Long Dark, which I already own. But those are all like really great. Dawn of War 3, also good. Quantum Break, I don't know how that fared.
Game of the Year according to John Wall from Megadads.
Well, I'll play it and I'll set the record straight.
Is this basically your go as a PC gamer? For those of you who don't know, for those people who don't know, what is Humble Bundle? Because I've had this come up too. I think we were talking about it on If We're on Nintendo, and Aaron Doherty's like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, so Humble Bundle is they started out just bundling together games, I believe, mostly indie games, and then it kind of turned into they started bundling more AAA titles and stuff to give to charity. So you'd pay $12, a certain percentage of that would go to Humble Bundle, certain percentage would go to the developers, and then the last percentage would go to whatever charity that bundle is for, or you could choose sometimes. And you would always be able to kind of they had sliders so you could specify exactly how much was going where. Now they've kind of turned into more of like a service where you have your Humble Monthly, which is kind of a blind box of games where they kind of tell you, I feel like they tell you the best games, the early unlocks. If you pay ahead of time, you get Dark Souls 3, for instance. And then you get, once it finally unlocks, you get 6 other games or 5 other games or something like that. And they've now expanded to books, and
the books are the tempting thing for me. I could definitely become a hoarder of books where I'm like, I'm just as likely to read that book as I am to buy those 13 or to play those 13 games that came in the bundle. Like neither of those are happening.
I can see that.
I want to read more. That's something that I definitely regret. Yep. And as much as I enjoy doing all of this, it's like every now and then I'm like, because I basically we started this at 8 o'clock, which was about 7 minutes after I handed Lincoln to Chelsea. So it was like, get home, walk the dogs, eat dinner, bath Lincoln, read him a story, hand him to Chelsea, podcast, play games, and then go to bed. And I'm like, maybe I should read something somewhere in there. So at Humble Bundle, I think I need to do that. I think that may be, if I spend money on it, surely I'll do it.
You want to know what my secret is?
No sleep?
No. I get plenty of. I try to get the most sleep I possibly can. I take baths. No kidding. I'll take a 30-minute bath before I go to bed, and I'll read. Because I won't read. I never just sit down and read. Like I don't have a reading.
You need a chair. You need a
nice
like that. Sweet chair and a pipe. You're a reading pipe.
Yes, that's true. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I am reading. I got for Christmas the collected works of H.P. Lovecraft, because a lot of people will talk about how much of an H.P. Lovecraft fan they are, right? But not very many people have actually gone out of their way to read the text, so to speak. I feel like you've got some beef. Do you have?
I have no idea what it is.
Lovecraft.
It's funny. It's funny to me that you say like a lot of people say that they're fans. I'm like, nope, not really. Hang on.
Okay, so Cthulhu. Okay.
H.P. Love. I'm not even. I don't have to hang on. I'm not even in the right field.
Why am I texting?
I just sent a Lovecraft to my dad on Messenger.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, Sean, are you listening?
He's like, why is he typing this to me?
Oh no, all dads are super serious. Sean, we need to have a talk.
Oh yeah, we need to have a talk, Sean. We're starting to worry about you. Your dad is getting really worried. His ulcer has been acting up.
Ulcers are awful. Oh, I didn't even get to ask you about any of that stuff. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
I want to talk about your health.
Well, here, H.P. Lovecraft. He made Cthulhu.
Okay. How's your health?
So Cthulhu, everyone loves Cthulhu. H.P. Lovecraft is part of that, but he's written so much more, tons of short stories. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to say that I like this stuff, I should probably be familiar with the works. My health is okay. I'm working on my weight loss. It's been tough, just because I was talking about it a little bit in the chat on Discord, but basically I have this tendency to go all in or nothing. And so when I start, I'm like, I need to do P90X and I need to make sure I'm logging all my food and I need to, weigh myself every single minute and all this stuff. And I need to get 800 Fitbits and put them all over my body so I know exactly how many
2 on each ankle.
A birdie.
Daisy chain a few around my neck.
Yes, exactly. Oh, a sweet choker. Yeah, for sure. Talk about 90s.
What's old is new again?
I had to step back and be like, all right, what's working for me? Because I was feeling weird while I was trying to work out and also diet. I was keeping track of my calories. And a lot of that came through because of my gallbladder issues, which just kind of cropped up out of nowhere. And so I was like, okay, talking about becoming an adult, I was like, I need to stop eating like garbage. Like I need to stop eating at night because I'm a bored eater and I have a sweet tooth. So
dude, I ate cake just before this. What the? I don't need that cake. I'm a disaster.
But don't. You are a horrible person for eating that cake. But don't let that stop you from enjoying the things you love. I'm drinking a beer. This is my second one tonight. However, and I didn't make room for it by not eating is another important thing. So what happened was when I was working out and I was tracking my food, it was too much. Like I wasn't eating back my calories. I was feeling weak and I didn't really feel like I could continue. And I was getting worried that I was going to give up because I usually do things for about a month and then I give up. I've even found like if a lot of the time, if I start talking about it, that's typically about the time I start giving up on it is because I'm like, oh, I just did a sick workout and I feel so great. The next day I'm like, oh God, I don't feel good. I better not work out. And then I never work out again. So I stopped working out and just focused on losing weight through tracking my food. And that has gone so much better for me. Isn't that crazy?
Because like in the old days when you're young, you're like, I guess I'll just go for a jog and I'll drop 15 pounds by doing that. But now it doesn't do, I feel like it doesn't do anything. Like diet is so much more impactful.
Well, now more than ever, when you're the one in charge and responsible of what you eat, you don't just come home and dinner's made. You know what I mean? It becomes not only like how much calories you eat, for instance. It's also like what you're eating. Because if you want to eat 8 Snickers bars, that's fine. But you're only going to eat 8 Snickers bars and you're going to feel like crap and you're going to be hungry. So like it's that balance of, I'm going to have a couple beers tonight, but I'm also going to make sure that my lunch consisted of at least, a zucchini.
Definitely
or
a zucchini. You can have 6 zucchinis if you want.
Cucumber.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes. And that's like 10 calories.
I think it's negative even. I think it's like celery. I'm not sure. There's no real way to. There's no real way to know. I think I definitely connect with you with a lot of what you said, and I think a lot of people do. With it's hard to be consistent forever. Like that's kind of impossible to set. So, it sounds like you're again finding that balance of all in probably doesn't work, but nothing is not a reasonable response either. So, I don't know, man. I hope that I can't wait to keep, listening in on the IRL updates on Fluxtaposed, and just hope things are going well for you.
Hope they're not ER visits and not just updates about how much weight
get
I
back
lost
to fixing
or
your
whatever.
cars, man. Get those ball joints rolling and stuff. Blowing
I
all those,
blew
blowing that
so
ball
many
joint.
ball joints when I got them fixed. Well, I will say that so far as that stuff goes, things have been going better, and I like you said, trying not to go all in, and I have realistic goals, and it's a lifestyle change, man. You got to think of it this way. I had to think of it this way. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life unless I want my gallbladder out, which I don't. I am deathly afraid of having surgery. I don't want to have surgery. So for me, it was just kind of like, okay, what's realistic? How can I, it's going to take me years to lose weight and get where I want to be. But as long as I'm headed in that direction,
and it always
that's
feels
what's
good.
important.
It feels so much better doing that. Like, oh, look at this. This shirt used to be way tighter. Or,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can have your cake, Sean, and you can
no
eat
because
it,
it
too,
disappears.
But
that's the saying. That's why you can't have your cake and eat it too. Because as soon as you eat it, you don't have your cake anymore.
I think that's when it becomes a lie.
I think it is a lie. I think it's always been a lie, at least since like 2002. or the Orange Box,
I know,
or whatever the
whatever.
hell that came out.
It's a timely game reference for sure. But see, that's the thing. That's what keeps you sane, is doing the things, eating the things that you like still.
That's true.
Drinking a beer if you want to. Just don't drink it every night. Don't eat cake every single night. You know, keep track of yourself. You got to live life. Everything in moderation.
Hey, man, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask Jason anything next week?
It's always a great time.
Should I ask Jason about living with you? I'll write it down.
No. Honestly, I've said all that. You know, it sounds like we had a crazy, rollicking good time, but honestly, I mean, I would say that our stories are pretty dull compared to most people's, especially if you went to college and lived there. Ask him.
I struggle with this.
Jason's hard to pin down because he's the type of guy who's plays his cards close to the chest. He's not a very open guy. I think part of it is that he doesn't want to burden people with his problems, but every once in a while I'll catch him, especially if we go and have a beer. He'll unload some serious mojo, and I'm just like, doesn't that just feel better?
So challenge accepted. Jason will cry like a bitch next week, so everybody stay tuned for part 2 of Fluxtaposed We the GamerCast crossover experience. GamerCast harder.
I love it.
Lucas, as if anybody doesn't know already, where can people find you on the internet, your podcast, and the cool beer thing that you guys are doing if people want to get involved in that?
Well, let's see. I'm at heavy metal _riff on Twitter, I think is how I do it.
I like it.
I'm bad at social media, so that's why I don't do it. Usually Jason does it for us. But we also do Fluxtaposed. That's just kind of hangout podcast. It was actually a little bit like how it is tonight, or at least one section of it is. We also talk about video games and stuff, and try to somewhat keep. Yeah, we try to somewhat keep. Jason keeps me in line.
But I know what you're playing.
That's why he runs the show. What you playing is that's like how we connect to the gaming audience. If we didn't do that, I don't think anybody would listen. And then we're doing well, when you say the beer stuff, are you talking about the trade or the show?
and the battle? Because it's all awesome.
Well, okay. So we started a beer trade just because we have so many awesome listeners and just friends of the podcast who may not listen, but we just know them through somebody else. And anybody can get in on it, and we just send each other beer because, let's face it, unfortunately it's a little difficult to get some of those awesome beers that are coming out from different states that unfortunately can't distribute.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on that one. I think you say something and you're like, did I?
Yeah, all the time.
Wrong?
All the time. Why do I do this? I record this and then I actively put it up on the internet.
I mean, you heard just now. I'm bad at talking, so I don't know why I do.
I'll send you some coke.
But anyways, perfect. That'll help. So yeah, we do the beer trade, and you can just hit one of us up on the social medias and get you involved. And I know I'm the dad thing kicking in again. And then lastly, we do a beer show I don't know. That one's tough because if you're not really into beer, it's probably not as much for you. But we don't make it too serious. We joke around. We have fun with it. We don't talk about tasting notes and stuff as much as you probably would expect. And at least one in every 2 episodes, I'm making an ass out of myself. So if you want to see that, then there it is.
Very sweet. And even if you don't like beer, you should check it out for the production value, because I can't remember if I said this on air or off air on the Free on Nintendo. One of the best, of all the things that all of us do, it looks incredible and it sounds amazing. So just go check it out. Is that youtube.com/battlethebeers? Yeah,
if you just type in Battle of the Beer, it should come up by
SEO,
now.
Man. And alliteration.
I feel like it was. Yeah, I'm always about alliteration, dude. You know.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for the chat, man. This was sweet. I didn't know where the hell we were going.
Yeah. I never know, but that's kind of what I like about it. It's just kind of hanging out.
I hope it's okay. Lucas, maybe if you're listening to this, you're probably going, hang on a second. This is an hour and some odd minutes. We talked for nearly 2 hours. I did chop a little bit of the start. I don't normally take that much, but I am trying to keep these episodes about this length. Please let me know what you guys think. Is it okay for like longer? I may be guessing here, but I have a feeling that shorter is better. But we sort of we went on a thing, and I think that the best stuff is what you heard. We did talk more at the start. I took out more than I typically do, but guys, please let me know. Lucas, I hope that's okay. This is the stereotypical Canadian sorry. I don't know if that's offensive. Now I'm just 2 weeks in a row already offending people. Thank you guys on patreon.com/makeusbetter for making this better. This is possible because of you. And if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron over there. Amazing stuff. Remember, on Monday, we have a new announcement coming. So that is wonderful. Follow Lucas on the Twitter at heavymetal_riff. You can join the Discord. I should probably have that in the notes. I'll try to make a note of that. You follow their show at Fluxtaposed. You can join their Discord as well. It's just Discordians all over the place. If you're watching the video, thumbs up, please. 2 thumbs up if you can. If you have multiple accounts, nobody knows the difference. So that would be wonderful. Remember, I am on If You're at Nintendo, where you may have heard Lucas and Jason just this past week, the week before that. And I'm also on the Xbox Drive. And I talked about Sea of Thieves this week. We're going to keep this short, guys, so I want to quickly thank our amazing artists Gary Gray and Adam Leonard, our video producer Antonio Guillen, and this is powered by the Dayspace Network of Podcasts, so thank you guys for having us there. This is pretty much it. Do you mind if I just wait out the music? I think this is still pretty good music. I think this music kind of holds up. I've gone for a jog to this music. I really want to play this. Man, is it too late to try this on the guitar? I think this is out of tune. I just said how I have to keep this episode short, but this music has to run. I can't just chop it. So this has to happen. Oh yeah, it's Patrick Stewart at the drive-thru this time, guys. Bye!
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart, star of TV's Star Trek: The Next Generation, and the host of the documentary series MGM, When the Lion Roars.
Okay, that's fine, sir. Can I take your order?
Yes, you can.
And what is your order, sir?
I'll have a quarter pounder with cheese and a side order of fries.
Would you like it?
And a fillet. Oh, fish.
Would you like a cold drink with that, sir?
Yes. Yes. For the sake of the future of all mankind, I will have a small Sprite.
Okay, sir, that's $5.20. Could you proceed to the first window?
The first window. The first portal to a new dimension. One greater, one more wondrous than our own.
No, just the first window of the drive-thru, please, sir.
Yes, then so it is that I proceed to this window of which you speak.
Thank you, sir.
Approaching warp speed.
What the f***? Mate, did you just drive into the back of me?
Yes, it is so.
Mate, are you some kind of f***ing comedian?
I am Patrick Stewart.
Mate, get out of the f***ing car.
And so, with heavy heart, I hereby withdraw from the vehicle.
Mate, look what you've done to my f***ing Duco.
You accuse me.
Mate, f***ing I do. Here's your order, sir.
What manner of burger is this? And these slivers of potato extract?
Hey, Chrome Dome, are you gonna f***ing pay for my car or not, mate?
I am under attack. I must reason with this.
Mate, you are talking out your f***ing ass.
And so it is that I bid you and your people farewell.
What a f***ing dead shit.